There's extraordinary and growing evidence that just getting up off your bum at work, standing up, moving around, can make enormous differences to your health and well-being. And one of the experts, and indeed, as you'll see in a moment, enthusiasts in the area, is Professor James Levine of the Mayo Clinic in Rochester, Minnesota. So Jim, how did you get into this obesity and movement story?
We took lean individuals and we overfed a whole group of individuals by 1,000 calories a day above their weight maintenance needs. So we knew exactly how many calories a certain person required to keep their body weight steady, and then we overfed them 1,000 calories above that. And what we found was that there was a 10-fold variation. So some people will burn off nearly all of those excess calories. Other people will store nearly all of those excess calories as body fat. How can that be? Well, the secret to burning off all of those excess calories was something we discovered and called NEAT, non-exercise activity thermogenesis. So the calories you burn with everyday movement. So it's really fascinating when you think about it, because if you take a regular person and you overfeed them, without that person thinking or deciding to go to the gym or anything else, they'll just start to move more and burn excess calories.
So they're twitchy?
Well, we originally thought it was twitchy, and what transpires is it's those people who spontaneously just start ambling around, walking more, burning off up to 700 extra calories a day, are those people who remain thin.
So these were the people who were overfed, and that was their response to overfeeding?
Yes. Then we asked the question, well, if that's the case, how about people with obesity? Are people with obesity more likely to be sitting down more compared to those people who can't sit still? And the answer is yes. In fact, people with obesity living in regular environments are prone to be seated 2.5 hours a day more than people who are thin.
2.5 hours?
2.5 hours.
Independent of the sort of job that they do?
That is exactly right. When you look in one office space, some people literally are moving 2 or 3 hours a day more than other people. So that variability does exist even in a chair-bound society.
Let's look at a real-life example where they've put a lot of this into practice. And appropriately, it's at the offices of one of Australia's leading health promotion agencies, VicHealth.
Most workers we know may come to work each morning and they may sit for anywhere up to 10 plus hours. Within that time they may perhaps get up once or twice to go to the bathroom or have lunch, etc. But primarily the automation around office work in particular means that they're desk-ridden for most of the day. Emails, on the phone, typing. In comparison to that, standing workstations actually allow people to possibly stand up for almost 3/4 of a day, if that's the case. But they're also moving, which is the important part of this whole activity as well. The standing desk system at VicHealth comprises 2 major components. The first one, as you can see, is what we have here, which is the monitor, which is on an adjustable arm that can go up and down depending on your height, and then there is the keyboard on a platform with the mouse. The second component is in meeting rooms. We have elevated tables. People have standing meetings as a result of that. We also did encourage as part of this that people, rather than send an email to the person 2 doors down, it'd be good if you actually got up and walked down and had the conversation with them. We gave 10 people standing workstations and we monitored their activities, they kept journals, and then they reported back how they felt and the influences and impacts of those workstations for them. What we actually found through the pilot was that people had more energy, they were more alert, they felt more alert for longer in the day, and they were able to move around while they were standing as well. Most of the participants, I think it was 6 out of 10, actually reported that they had less back pain than they would ordinarily have. There were also in our trial reports from the participants that actually their mental health and wellbeing had been improved. In terms of costs to the workplace, this sort of intervention is relatively cheap. I mean, we were able to certainly give our employees these workstations, and they cost around $650 to $700 to integrate into existing work desks. Workplaces are a setting in which health can be either impeded or it can be health promoting. We're of the view that in this particular issue, if people are sitting for too long, there are ways of addressing it. If you don't address it, it will cost you an enormous amount in terms of employee injury in relation to musculoskeletal damage and disorders, stroke, cardiovascular disease and type 2 diabetes potentially.